What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 198 of the 580 Show. This week, I'm joined by special guest Luke Davis. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Good. For the Americans that don't know Luke, if you're in the strongman scene, you should know Luke. I'm surprised if you don't, but we'll talk about your resume a little bit. It's one reason I want to have you on and talk to you is it's more than just being an athlete. You do a lot for the sport, arguably as much as really anyone. So I just kind of want to talk about all the cool stuff you got going on, talk some strongman, and yeah, that's it. So,
Cool.
so Luke is the owner of Kaos Strength Promotions, and it, you're one of the promoters I look up to because every time you see a video from one of your shows,
Yeah.
you're always working your ass off. Like you're not one of the guys, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
with a tie on and
I've actually
sweat and all.
been told off for that by like a few of other lifters who were like, "Oh, you should be like delegating more and doing stuff." And I'm like, "Nah, I can't ask people to do stuff if I'm not willing to graft." Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, that's very true. Like I would never subject someone that's volunteering their time, to something that I wouldn't do. So
Yeah.
that's cool. But it's all, if you want something
I,
done right, you do it yourself, I guess.
yeah, I like being involved. I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if I was like stood at the
Yeah.
back just watching it all unfold. I like being, you know. Selfishly just like we being right in the center of the action, so to speak. So
Yeah, no, I like it too. It's like, and then I don't miss stuff. I'm like, I remember
yeah,
all the.
exactly.
I love strongman, so I remember all like the individual like accomplishments and like moments that stood out.
Like occasionally, me and Ree will have to like run off to a different room and do something while the show's going on, and I hate it. Like I'm like,
You got the
oh,
live stream up on your phone.
yeah, I'm gonna be missing something, or but
No, I think I think a lot of people, over your way would say you're probably one of the most influential and um I guess helpful people to this to growing the sport. And some Americans, more at the local level might not know, but I really, really encourage people to follow Luke and Chaos Strength and everything they're doing because it's really cool and it's really starting to bleed over, you know, to what we're doing in America, like with the Chaos Classic with the 90s, right?
yeah,
And you did the 64 women and the the 90s was the heaviest 90s show ever. We talked about it pretty in depth on this podcast. Just me and a couple guys, but um it was a really cool show and I was a huge fan of it. So I woke up at like I think what was it like 3:30 or 4 in the morning over here to watch
yeah,
it
it's
and it was
early
well
our
worth
time.
it. It was over by like 10, so it was over in time to go like the gym. So that's one, I guess, bonus of, the 5 hour time difference.
Yeah, it was hard trying to get the time right because obviously we had a lot of Americans, but then we had also had a lot of Australians this year, especially on the women's
Mm.
side. So trying to find like the right time to run it so
Yeah.
the most people can watch is pretty much impossible because obviously Australia and America are complete opposite fucking time zones.
Literally complete opposites.
Yeah, so like it was never going to be perfect, but
No. No, it's like with MMA, like the UFC fights, I can never find a way to stay up for them. You just
dude,
gotta.
we are UFC. The main event normally goes on about 5 a.m. in the UK.
Mm. See,
So
ours is like,
I just watch them in the morning now.
yeah, that's what the main card for me is probably around like midnight or 1 a.m. And for me, I'm a baby. I can't stay up that late. So, yeah.
Even the one that was in Manchester, which is like 45 minutes from my house, the Leon Edwards card a couple of months ago, that was still on in American time.
Was it
So
really?
yeah, they showed it was like it finished at like 7 a.m. local time.
That's crazy.
Because
I didn't know that.
I went to the last one in Manchester, which was Bisping versus Henderson. Like I
Hmm.
don't know how many years ago that was, like
Oh, that's,
10,
yeah,
10
probably
years.
over 10 years ago, right?
And we got out to the arena and it was light outside because it was fucking 7 a.m.
That's
And we had,
crazy.
I had
I
to
did
get up
not
like
know. I guess I just don't. I'm an ignorant American. I don't think about that.
they
Like,
put it on for the American audience because that's where the
yeah.
majority of the pay-per-view buys comes from. So
Mm. Well, that's crazy. Well, do you want to explain to the audience and even the people that do know you and know chaos, but Can you kind of explain like what your goal is with Chaos and what you guys are doing now, but also kind of what you want to do in the future and continue to do and grow? What talk about it a little bit.
Um, in a nutshell, it's just to create more opportunities for the weight class athletes. Like that's primarily where our focus is. I know we did a heavyweight show last week, which we had a good lineup and had some good prize money and stuff. But primarily for me, it's about the weight classes because, as you well know, there's not that many opportunities worldwide. Like before the Classic and before, say, PSL and Clash, there was nothing outside of OSG.
Right.
Um, so yes, that's the main goal is to have long term is to have like sort of a circuit worldwide for all the weight classes. So there's multiple sort of pro, I hate the word pro really, but everybody knows what it means when you say it.
Yeah.
So there's multiple pro shows a year. So like say, and then the 80 or the 90, long term, I see the top weight class athletes not really doing national shows, not really doing local stuff. Maybe doing 4 or 5 sort of pro level shows a year in different countries, and well, not maybe it's not going to be able to make a living out of it, but earn some decent money, um, and like treat them more like a job than just a hobby. That's
Yeah, that's
essentially the
cool.
long term goal. Like obviously, right now we got PSL obviously in America, which covers every weight class. Um, we've obviously got the Chaos Classic. Next year, we're doing the Cumbrian Invitation off the 105s, which I'm involved with as well. And we also want to get something going in the UK for the under 80s and the under 73 and under 82 women as well. So when we've got that in place, there'll be a pro show in America via PSL, there'll be a pro show in the UK, and then we'll have OS3. So there's at least 3 big shows then
Yeah.
throughout the year. Long term, I'd like to have more, but yeah, that's the main goal for every weight class to have multiple pro shows leading into the World Championships, and yeah, more prize money, more eyes, and
Yeah.
just yeah,
And I think one thing that really helps you and something that you do a really good job with is you're in touch with the sport. I don't know if there's anyone that really likes the sport as much as you, for better or worse.
yeah,
Like
probably not.
it's you're like a strongman encyclopedia.
Yeah,
Like you're one of the few people you can talk to and they remember everything about everything in strongman and you love it, but you're in touch with the sport. So like to rewind what you said, have a pro circuit that leads into worlds, which is presumably OSG, right? Um,
yeah,
so
because
you're
OSG is still the pinnacle, really.
yeah, like
As much as obviously we've had issues with official strongman recently, wherever.
yeah,
The title,
yeah.
the title that people want to win is World's Strongest Man, right?
Right, for sure. But like what I'm saying, and it's a huge compliment to you, is that you're cognizant of that and you understand, okay, we're not going to put a show on November 2nd,
No,
because OSG's on November whatever,
yeah.
15th or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like have PSL in June, July, and the pro circuit revolves around that. And I think there's
Well,
see, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying
no,
to say.
I get what you're saying, and what people won't realize is that if you look at PSL, right, and look at the events from
Yeah.
PSL shows, it's completely different to Chaos. It's a bit lighter, it's a bit more athletic based, a bit more moving events, and that's not by accident. That's because me and Tyler actually fucking talk to each other,
Right. Which
and
is which is
like
great.
so, like Tyler's logic, which I agree with, is that obviously Chaos is super heavy. So he's made the 64 and 90 kilo pro PSL show a little bit lighter, so they're not doing multiple heavy shows in a row. And that's also why the 64s are with the 90s at PSL, because we
Yeah.
put the 64s with the 90s.
That's really smart.
And
That's really
that's why
smart.
when we add an 82 kilo class, we'll probably pair it with our 105s, because that's what PSL have done.
Yeah.
So they match up.
So
And
when, so when's your 80 show gonna be for the pro?
um, I'm still working on it. I'm trying to. Well, ideally, I get somebody else to do it because I've got enough to do.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But
And I
if
want
I
to like
if
I
I
would love
can't,
to do it and it's like I want to compete. That's the only time
yeah,
I'll get to have fun. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So like I want to.
If
I think
I
it's a good
can't,
excuse for me to get to travel overseas for the first time ever
yeah.
to do, do something I love, and then my wife would like it because we get to travel, and I have no interest in traveling unless it's for strongman, so it's a win-win, for my family. So selfish.
If I can't find somebody else to do it, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, I knew
Um,
I figured as much, but
but yeah, we definitely want to get an 80 kilo pro show. I don't know whether it'll be in 2025 or whether that will be in 2026.
God, I'm gonna
But
be I'm gonna be in a wheelchair before it ever happens. So
no, we're
maybe.
definitely working on it. Ideally,
Oh,
I'd like
I
to
know, man.
do it
And
next year.
I got the last minute call up to PSL 80s this year, and I was so happy because I didn't get to do the online qualifier for it because my son was born and I
Yeah,
had
I
a lot
remember
of,
you saying.
just some stuff I couldn't do it. And it really surprises me that there wasn't more interest from our class. And like I was disappointed because, you look at Quinn won, right? Quinn
Yeah,
Ramasco. He ran away with it. He had an amazing day. He made some serious money because Tyler paid, I think, $250 for each event win or $150 for each event win. So Quinn won 4 of the 6 events, and then he won 3 grand for winning. So I mean,
yeah,
you're talking about, he's getting close to he's like 4 grand.
4 runs. Yeah,
And remember, we didn't pay an entry fee.
yeah,
So um I thought they did a really good job. I mean, there's always some small stuff you want to change, and I think Tyler will take that feedback always, um but like I'm just shocked when like shows like that, like the 73 women, they only had 6 women.
yeah,
Like it's like there's more opportunities for weight class athletes, but then it's like when the opportunities do come, for some reason we don't. I don't know. I don't know what we need to do to make that happen.
yeah. It's similar to so you go America's Strongest Man next weekend? Or, no, 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the 90 kilo. And this year they've got some good prize money. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but the prize money is decent for
I
the
think it's
under
10
19s this
grand.
year. Yeah, 10 grand. That's right. And for some reason, there's less people doing it than there was last year when there was no fucking prize money.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying. Well,
I
and I think
don't.
I think part of
I
it,
know it's a week after PSL,
yeah.
so it's not great timing.
And
But
I think part of it could be the change in ownership and the lack of promotion for it. Like,
yeah,
okay, so they posted a random photo. This is me being a salty 80 kilo competitor. I'm gonna be petty real quick and remember, I'm a state chair for Strongman Corp, so I'm I'm invested, but like
hey, I run a show for Strongman Cup this year as well. So
yeah. So on July 24th, they posted, "We're excited to announce that the debut of America's Strongest 80 kilo,"
yeah,
right? Um, $10,000 prize money. There hasn't been an invite sent out. There hasn't been announcement other than that one Instagram post. There hasn't been an event announced, and we're 8 weeks out exactly today. So it's like, you know, and then they're like, "Oh, well, there's not going to be participation." Well, it's like, well, give us a chance. You
yeah.
know, if we do it 12, 16 weeks out, the invites, the stuff like that, it gives people time to prepare, plan. It's in Florida. You got to fly there. You got to, there's real stuff. So I think part of that is I think with Lynn coming on board, I think it will help. I think he brings that, but we'll
I
see.
think Strongman as a whole, on every level, I would say, outside of say fucking Giants Live, has got is really bad at promoting stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got to
Like
think how new.
ourselves included, man. Like this year, we actually hired someone to do our social media, which you probably noticed. We had a lot more content and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But when we were trying to do it on our own, man, it's just
It's too much.
it's another thing to add to the list to do. And obviously, when you prioritize stuff, social media kind of ends up being at the
It
bottom, right?
always ends up being the last thing. I'm so bad at social media. I literally say
So
like every
this year we
weekend, I'm like, I'm gonna start posting for like coaching, the gym, stuff
yeah,
like that. And I never do it. Like
this year we just sucked it up and we just hired someone to do it for us.
well, that's
And
smart. That's super
I feel like
smart.
more brands probably need to do that because like obviously with the change of ownership, I'm sure like I know for a fact James has a billion things on his plate right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's probably going to get better over time. I don't know whether there's like a restructuring within the organization about who's doing what and blah blah blah. So I feel like that's probably going to come with time. But yeah, the opportunities are coming. Um,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see. But like I said, we need people to take them.
Yeah.
The fact
You
that the
need that's what I'm
fact,
saying. Like,
yeah,
I'm not even faulting Strongman Corp or
no,
PSL or Chaos. It's like the athletes need to show up when people are
yeah,
giving us this opportunity, you know? Like, dude, Strongman Corp Nationals, over here are happening right now.
yeah.
You're probably watching it. But there's only for the 80s, there's only 7 guys.
Jesus, nationals is normally
And
big as well, right?
nationals. The year that I won, there was
40 something normally.
30.
Yeah,
I want to say 20s. I know at least mid 20s, so it's like, man, what's happened? Is it, I don't know. I don't have a
that's
great answer.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but
crazy.
but when I saw the PSL the numbers for the women, I was shocked. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the solution is on that front. There's obviously something missing that is putting off people. Um, I'm just not sure what it is.
It could be promotion, like I mean what I honestly think is it's a it's like a cauldron of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's more opportunities than ever, so it takes from
Do you know
different things.
do you know what I think PSL and Strongman Club are really bad at?
What's that?
Talking about the stuff they do well.
That's a good
So
point.
on every single post from the Chaos Classic, we beat people's heads with the fact there's £10,000 prize money,
Right.
that it's people from this amount of countries, it's XYZ. Like PSL, there's no talk about how they're giving out 5 grand every show. There's no talk about
No entry fee.
no entry fee. There's no. I know for a fact that Tyler has helped people with who've been stuck. Like he's helped them with getting rides, or he's maybe got them a hotel for a night if they were stuck somewhere. Like he does
Yeah.
loads of stuff for the athletes, and he keeps it to himself. And I'm like, no, I like because as much as you don't want to be seen as bragging about what you're doing, but you kind of freaking need to get the point out there. You're doing all this stuff for the athletes. Otherwise, you look at
Right.
PSL and you're like, oh, so what are they giving us? Because but then you need to be bragging more. Same with Americas, man. They're giving out 10 grand per
Right.
class. So if you work it out over all the different America's Strongest Man, they're probably giving out close to what, 6 figures?
Well, I mean, they're giving out at least just between
10 grand to the 64s, 10 grand to the 80s, 10 grand to the
that's
other weight
60,000.
classes. They
They're
add
giving out
25 grand to the
60,000,
heavyweights
25,
ish.
I think, to the heavyweights.
So that's 6 figures, man.
Yeah, you're over 6 figures for
So
sure.
why are they not screaming that from the freaking rooftops?
No, man, I think it's just a part of figuring it out. And I think if you look at their social media from this weekend, they're
Yeah.
figuring it out.
Yeah, it's
So
been very good so far, the
when
national
the
stuff.
year every year I've done nationals, you wouldn't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't even post it. And they've done a really awesome job with the posting so far because
Yeah, I agree.
I think they have a social media person now full time. So I think it's just a mixture. And there is something to like you hate bragging and yet
Yeah.
you
I hate doing it.
internally I hate it. I'm like, man, I want to like scream stuff on my social media and like the gym social media, and then I'm like, man, I don't want to come off, as cocky or arrogant, like,
But I feel like to get people invested in these shows, you kind of have to.
yeah,
Like
you're right.
PSL should be screaming that athletes don't pay an entry fee, that it's X,
Yeah,
Y. Do you know what I mean? The fact that that's not even widely advertised. It's not
no,
common knowledge. Um, and
no,
again, the America's Strongest Man prize money isn't common knowledge, and it should be.
no, that's why I think as athletes, like we tend to forget how new strongman still is, like
Yeah,
especially for weight classes. Like you're really like a pioneer when it's all said and done. Like you're an OG in the weight class growth of it because there were weight classes before, but there weren't any opportunities. Like,
no,
I mean, the Arnold Classic was before OSG. That was the World Championship.
yeah,
When like Kale Beck did it and stuff like that. Um, so it's just so new. But I think part of it is the ownership of the athlete to be like, when I was at PSL, I think Ken Nowicki probably. hated me because I thanked them so many times. Like because they were the title sponsor and I'm sure they gave
Yeah,
a lot of money and stuff to Tyler. I thank Tyler, I thank the volunteers, and you got to post about it. Like, hey, I specifically made a post about PSL because I liked it so much
yeah,
and I wanted the opportunity to grow and continue to do it. So I think if you're an athlete and you enjoy the show, even if it's at the local level, like if you go and make a post and you genuinely love that show, that's gonna help that promoter or whatever that is a lot, you know?
yeah, 100%. That's how you get people back the year after, right?
Yeah. And I think on the adverse side is that some people kiss ass and then behind the scenes they're like, that show sucked.
Yeah,
It's like, well, I just read your 9 paragraph Instagram post and it was like the greatest weekend of your life. You know what I mean? Like we
yeah,
all like I mean, you are in the strongman gossip. I get people in our DMs and like, oh, this show sucked. And then I'm like, well, say it, say it in a productive,
yeah. Of course.
constructive criticism way. Don't just say this show sucked. That's not gonna
No,
help.
say why.
That's one thing I loved about OSG last year because I thought in Charleston there was so much. I know you and I DM'd about it,
Yeah,
but there was so much that could have been improved, and it was still a fun weekend. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong, but Lynn sent out the athlete feedback thing, and it
yeah,
truly does seem like this year he applied a lot of the feedback
yeah. I
that
agree.
I heard. So that's great. Like, hey, we messed up on the athlete area. So we're going to
Yeah,
improve that. We don't want super heavyweights at the arena for 16 hours. So we're going to do the time slots now. Like, that's great. Right. So I
yeah,
don't,
100%.
so yeah, I don't know. Little weird strongman rant, but I mean, we both just like strongman. So I don't know what we need to see happen next. It's just, I guess, just continue the opportunities and
I
show
think we
up.
need some more from a purely selfish perspective. We need some more promoters to step up. And start running like you don't. People think you need to, I don't know, be super rich or like have everything to do like a big pro show. We ran the Chaos Classic out to the gym this year, and it was freaking awesome. And our gym is not that big,
Yeah,
like,
no.
it, and like prize money, like it was primarily generated by the comp itself. So like that we charged for the live stream, we had ticket sales in person, we had merchandise, and we did charge an entry fee, but we put it straight back into the prize pot.
Right.
Like, there's ways of generating and stuff. So that's my hope. What will happen is that like us doing these shows will inspire other, promoters to think, oh, I can do that.
Yeah. No, for
Um,
sure. I mean, if you I think when you look at a good promoter, the thing is that always separates and makes someone a good promoter is if they care. If you
yeah,
care, it doesn't money doesn't matter, the location doesn't matter, like you'll find a way to make it happen. We're the same
100%.
way. We've run regionals over here 3 years in a row and we've had over 100 competitors every time. We run it out of our gym.
Yeah,
Instead of getting a bigger, we don't need a big arena.
no,
Like we just don't. There's not that many people showing up to watch. So I'd rather put the effort and the time into things that are going to help the athlete
yeah,
versus,
100%.
you know
Yeah,
what
we
I
were
mean?
like, we've been like looked at hiring venues and stuff, but I'm like, if I hire a venue that costs me, I don't know, say it cost me 3 grand, right? Just
Yeah,
sort
right.
of out a random number. That's probably 3 grand less I have to take out of the price pot then,
Right.
because the
Right.
money's not coming from nowhere.
Well, it's also like how many athletes did you have at the Chaos Classic this year? It wasn't that
But
many where you can't do it at your gym.
yeah, 100%. And I think the atmosphere was great as well, obviously because the gym was full.
Yeah, right.
It's probably the same as yours when you have like a busy competition in the gym.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is crazy good.
We're right.
Um,
Like I would rather, wouldn't you rather your arena, gym, whatever venue, wherever it's at, feel full versus feel like you're like a hot dog down a hallway? Like I would
yeah,
much rather it be
100%.
loud and like the fans feel like up in your face because at the end of the day, the only people that are really coming to watch Strongman right now are parents, girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, uncles, aunts, a couple fans, like, but nothing crazy. So I'd rather it be packed, you know. So that's just me. I don't.
Yeah, I think you only start needing venues when the athlete numbers get crazy. Like, say
Yeah.
you ran a nationals or whatever, obviously then you
Oh,
need a higher.
OSG, you know, USS Nationals over here takes
Like,
650.
because obviously we have just we're starting our own like sort of nationals next year, and
Yeah.
we're probably gonna have to hire a venue for the final because I'm anticipating there being like probably 150 to 200 athletes. So I'll
Yeah.
probably have to hire like a big sort of convention center type thing for that. But that's more about the athlete space than the spectators, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just you have to be able to accommodate that many athletes.
Yeah, and I feel like this is just might be just be me saying it because we run most of our competitions from our gym. I feel like gym comps are underrated. Like I love competing at gyms. I just you always have a good warm up area for the most part.
Everything's
It's
there.
everything's there. It's always a good atmosphere. Um, yeah,
Yeah, no.
I love it. Like I did the PSL qualifier in Westminster near Baltimore,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was just in the gym, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you travel all the way to America just to compete in a gym comp." I was like, "Well, it was fun, so who cares, right?"
Yeah, right. No, I'll be curious because PSL like the series will be wrapping up with the 90s and the 64s this
Yeah.
next weekend and or October 5th, so 2 weeks. Uh
Yes.
and I'll be curious what goes on next year, like qualifying process, stuff like that for the circuit over here and for PSL. Be excited.
Well, next year, our Chaos British Championships is going to qualify directly for PSL.
Okay.
So British people will have a clear pathway to go to international shows other than OSG. So it's going to qualify for PSL. It's going to qualify for the Chaos Classic and our shows, and it's also going to qualify for something else, which I can't say while we're recording, but I'll tell you after we stop.
Okay.
um, so on the UK side, there's going to be a clear pathway now to get to PSL and get to some of these pro shows.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Tyler's going to do, whether he's going to continue with sort of the regional shows he's done or primarily do an online qualifier. I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's hard because it's hard to get people to a regionals and then the actual show
It's
with
just
other
more money,
stuff going
right?
on. Yeah, right.
More money, more time for the athlete, especially in America, where obviously you have to fly most places.
Yeah, I mean, like even like close shows for us are like, a 6 hour drive.
Yeah.
So uh so yeah. No, I don't know. But we'll see. I'm excited for you to tell me after we're done recording. Um but one other thing I want to talk to you about is the tested worlds that's going
Oh,
on. And
yeah.
I think that's really, really cool. Like, not bragging. I hate to be like the I'm natty rubbing in people's faces, but I've never, I'm a lifetime natural and I think it's really cool. And it seems like you've kind of taken a part in the drug tested worlds. And we just saw the world championship. Is that a couple weeks ago, 3, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Um,
in Ireland.
yeah, in Ireland. Um, so what's your involvement with that?
I was one of the three guys who started it. So I'm like
I
the
didn't I
founder
didn't
of
know
Natural
that.
Strongman. Yeah, most people don't. I keep my involvement kind of not in the quiet, but I prefer the focus being on like the federation and the actual competition rather than like me personally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
not a chaos. No, 'cause it's not a chaos thing. I kind of just work away in the background. But yeah, it was three of us who started it, and well, I'm one of the founders of it. Um, primarily, we started it because we all had a load of female clients basically, who were struggling to be competitive in the untested stuff. Not like so that's not the right term. They were competing and they were like get do we go into nationals doing well, blah blah blah. But you could see kind of like see the clear divide on say the stat stuff like pressing or wherever, where they were like a little bit behind. And we all had like a lot of female clients, so we were like, let's start something where they can compete on a level playing field, not feel the pressure to take drugs, which is obviously massive in the sport. You've probably felt it. You've probably had people talk to you saying,
Yeah.
"Why are you not on here? When are you going to do it?" Um, so yeah, we just wanted another option for our clients more than anything. That was the main reason it started.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's just freaking exploded, man. This year we had, I think we had people from 19 countries this year
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And the
like
live
200
stream was
athletes.
great. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
the live stream was really good.
it seems like it
I think we had 30,000 views over the weekend on YouTube,
that's
which
cool.
is pretty cool.
And you know what? I can speak for at least my class with the 80s. The quality of athlete was really solid.
Really good, man.
I mean, you had
Like,
Mason Cup win. He's a finals competitor at OSG. You had other guys competing that had made the finals at OSG. Um, you
well,
had,
Cal Scott came fourth at OSG last year,
yeah, right.
and
Um,
he did he make the podium?
I don't think he did. It
No, he
was
didn't.
it was
It was
Mason and
Liam
two guys.
McConville
Yeah.
and Niels from the Netherlands.
Yes.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Um,
So, it was always kind of in the back of my head, like why there wasn't a natural strongman because powerlifting, it's one thing that we just like, I think it's just always been like out of sight, out of mind, like the boogeyman,
yeah,
like if you don't acknowledge it, it's not real with drug use and strongman. And I think it's kind of like the silent majority gets like annoyed with the drug usage in strongman. Whether you
yeah,
agree with it or don't, I think it deters a lot of the up and comers. They're like, well, I don't want to do drugs. Um,
yeah,
and so I'm never going to be competitive, whether that's true or not. Because you have a guy like Kyle Scott that like was a threat to win last year as a natural,
yeah,
right?
100%.
But true or false, it deters people.
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah, it
So
100% does.
to have natural strongman and I didn't even plug it on Instagram yet, but if you just literally follow Natural Strongman, it's on Instagram. Um, you can kind of check out what we're talking about with all this stuff. They have regionals in the United States. I believe there's a Northeast one in New Jersey in February. There's one in Mississippi in January. And there might be some other ones. I'm not sure, but there's opportunities for it. And I think there's an online qualifier as well, right, Luke?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And
This year I think we've got like 5 shows in Europe over Europe as well. So it's
yeah.
getting bigger. And
Where's
I'll be honest, the first year it was competitive and it was good, but it kind of felt like an extension of our nationals in a way because there weren't that many foreign
yeah, when
athletes and
you don't
stuff.
get other flags
Yeah.
there, it's like
Whereas this year felt like a legit World Championships. Do you know
that's
what I mean?
cool. Yeah.
Like in
So
terms of countries represented, in terms of athletes, and in terms of quality. Like
that's
the
that's
lifters were
awesome.
fucking good, man. Like the
Yeah.
standard was really, really good.
So how do you guys drug test?
At the moment, it's just urine tests for the most part, and we actually introduced hair follicle tests for the first time
Wow, that's cool.
at Worlds, which are obviously a lot more accurate and go back longer. Um, the main issue we have is obviously we're not affiliated with like WADA or anything like that, so all the drug testing comes out of our own pockets essentially.
Mm. Do you
So,
do you
so this
plan to get affiliated with someone in the future? Like how does that work?
um, I don't think so, mostly because um, we have no aspirations for it to go in the Olympics or
Right, sure.
to be associated with anything else. We kind of like being in control,
Yeah.
and we can make the decisions rather than relying on some outside body, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so at the moment, the testing comes from the memberships. Um, all the membership goes into a prize fund basically that we spend on testing throughout the year. So as memberships go up, there will be more testing as well, obviously, because we'll have more money available. So
No, that's awesome.
um,
Like I'm kind of kicking my ass for not getting involved because it's like I'm, I preach like being drug free, internally, not too
yeah,
much externally. And it's like, well, now there's this opportunity for me. So like I think that's probably what I'll try to focus on in 25 because it's like it's there now and like you said, it feels like a world championship. Like I look at just my roster for the 80s. There was America, Netherlands, South Africa, Ireland, England, Wales, like all these countries. So it's like that's that's so cool that it's taking off. I want Frawley to do it really bad for the super
Yeah,
heavyweights.
we just announced our like England's qualifier basically. So um the system for nationals in the UK is a lot different from America, obviously, because we're a lot smaller country. So you can't qualify for nationals from like a random comp. You have to do a specific like sort of regional. So our English championship, we announced it last week, and we had like 150 entries in like 3 days.
Wow. That's cool.
Um, which is like far bigger than any of the untested stuff in the UK. Like it from
That's what
what
I'm
I can
saying. I
see,
think it's like
what
the
I can see
silent.
number from what I can see numbers wise, it's bigger than the untested scene now in terms of actual numbers of athletes competing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's like the silent majority where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I think it's just like that top 1% that people see, but it's everyone else that's like
Well,
the backbone of the sport. And
yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, I think there's more natural people than there are unnatural for sure
Yes,
by a very,
100%.
very, very
But
long
but
shot.
for some reason the narrative is that it's the opposite, and it's really not, man.
It's the complete yeah, it really is not. I think honestly, people would be shocked if you actually had a way to look at the true statistics. I think people would be shocked at how much more natural there is than unnatural.
For the record, guys, I am not claiming to be Natty.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, no.
yeah, so obviously we're running our Chaos British Championship next year as well, which is going to be untested. So it's going to be interesting for me now that I'm going to be running two. It's
You
going
have
to
the
be I'll be
devil.
able to see like the direct. No, but I'll be able to see like the direct correlation between the numbers
Hmm.
and like which athletes are doing both, because a lot of
Yeah.
people will choose to do both. Um, what the sort of standard is like in terms of weights lifting, and it'll be cool to have like a direct comparison between the untested and the tested.
Yeah. You know
I
what
do
I think
think
it's
like maybe one day it could be. Do you know what's the Fed in? There's a Fed in the UK, and I'm sure there's one in America as well. It might be WPC Powerlifting Fed that has untested and tested in the same federation.
USPA has
Yeah,
tested
USPA, that's the
has
one.
tested and untested.
I
So
wonder if we'd end up maybe seeing that eventually in Strongman as well, where it was
yeah,
the
and
same federation, but they had a tested division and an untested division. And
I've always thought that made sense, but I think what you kind of run into there is like, okay, just say Strongman Corp. If they have tested and untested in America, they're admitting that
yeah,
there's drug use.
legal, yeah,
You know what
issues.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's an illegal
Whereas
thing.
if you keep, yeah, when you keep it separate, like we don't obviously say that the Chaos Championships is untested. It's implied in the community and everybody knows it's
Sure.
untested. But yeah, I suppose if you put them together, you have that clear distinction of this one has drugs, this one doesn't.
Yeah, right. 100%, man. So, no, that's cool. That was one thing I really wanted to highlight because I think it's still not getting as much press as I would expect it to. And it might be because primarily it's overseas, but I want it to keep growing and I really think it's so if the other owners ever want to come on and talk and before Worlds or something like that or a big regionals, just reach out to me. So,
Yeah, we'll do,
I
man.
I'd
We
love to
did. We
talk.
had a few Americans there this year. We had Mason Cup. We had Carly Oliveira who podiumed in the 64s.
Yep.
And then we had a couple of guys in the 105s, and we had
Was
a few
Mason the
masters.
only American to win his class?
I believe so. Yeah.
He's a freak. He's
And
a
Carly podiumed, and I think that was it.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I when do you guys know where Worlds will be this next year?
No, not yet. I'm kind
Okay.
of looking at
Yeah,
venues
no, I
over
know
the
it's
next
that's
couple
I
of
mean that's
weeks.
like 50 weeks away.
We are hoping to lock it down soon. We got a couple of potential ones um, we're looking at. So it'll be in the UK again, I'd imagine.
Cool.
Um, whether it's going to be, I don't know whether it's going to be Ireland, Scotland, England, or Wales yet. We're looking at venues in all four of the UK countries. So,
Cool.
and we do already have the option of the venue that we held in this year in Ireland. Have already said they'd love to have us back. So that's kind of like not a backup venue because it was really good.
Yeah.
But we've got that obviously
Got
already
that
in
locked down if you
place.
need it.
La lockdown. I think we've already booked that just in case. With like we obviously we can cancel it if we need to.
Yeah, sure. No,
And
that's
we have a few other ones lined up
awesome.
because
Well,
we're
that's
expecting it to get bigger again, obviously next year.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's really cool, man. What's so what was it like with the heavyweight show? Because you guys had a really, really impressive lineup.
Yeah, man, it was different. I wasn't sure what I expected because I've never really worked with heavyweights. I expected more egos,
Really?
and they were all super chill, man. Like everybody was cool. It was a good atmosphere all day. The standard was crazy. I don't know if you saw, but like
Yes.
9 out of the 13 guys hit 400 pounds on the log.
Isn't that crazy? I did see that. And
Well, 100 kilos, so it's like 396, but basically
yeah,
400 pounds. Yeah,
right, sure. And you know what's crazy is, I'm more of a bias towards the weight classes because that's just what I like to watch.
yeah,
Um,
same,
but there was people I never heard of and didn't know, and they were like, it just makes you realize how many freaks there are out there.
dude. Like in the US and the UK, I generally think there's probably in each country, I reckon there's 40 or 50 guys at heavyweight who you could pluck out at random, throw them in like an international show, like a Giant's Live, and they would do fine.
I completely
Like
agree.
they wouldn't win, and they probably wouldn't. They might come bottom half, but they'd hold their own, and they wouldn't look out of place. And
Yeah, there
like,
are just so many guys like that.
yeah, this
You
like
see it like you
the
see it
guys
at
in
like
our show were. I'm not going to call them second tier guys, but they're not. They weren't like the top five in the UK. They were like that sort of up and comers who were trying to get to Giants Live, right?
yeah, yeah.
So like this, obviously we had a couple of Giants Live guys in the lineup as well, like Paul Smith and Ryan Bent and stuff who've done it before. But for the most part, like I would say, 10 of the lineup were guys who've never been to a Giants or an international show before, and they're like trying to work their way in, and they were all like crazy strong. Like they all pulled, what was the deadlift, like 850, all
Crazy.
pressed 400. They all ran with a 1,000 pound yoke. And the same as I think America's probably got even more because
Yeah,
obviously you're a lot bigger country, and you'll see people at like nationals in the Arnold, and there'll be like 30 of them, and they're all strong as fuck.
right. Yeah, it's just like you just always have those freaks pop up, and it's
I
just
think there needs to be
cool.
more shows as well, like the one we did, run by just like local promoters. We can maybe get a couple of grand or whatever in there
Yeah.
because there's not that many opportunities unless you get lucky and get in with like the big promoters. And the issue with the opens for me at pro level, and one of the main issues I have with the sport is that it's like a fucking sorry for all the swearing, but
Oh, you're good.
it's like a it's like a closed circle. It's like they don't let new people in almost.
Yep.
It's like the same guys every freaking year. Like Rogue seem to invite the same 12 guys to every single show they do. Same with the women. It's always
Yep.
the same freaking women. Like
Worlds. I mean, World's Strongest Man. Like
at least with
we get
Worlds
those
with
new.
30 guys, so we get a few new guys in every year, but there's still not as many as I'd
Just
like.
you know what though? I think just the last couple years we've been getting those new guys.
Yeah, we have, but like
And when they get their opportunity, they're
they
like
kill it.
they're like they're as good if not, better than the
100%.
guys that have been getting invited.
So it'd be cool if we saw a few more of these like smaller maybe gym comps pop up that gave the opportunity to these like guys who haven't quite had the chance to step up yet, just to see what they can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I would love
Like
see that's the
I would
that's
love
the
to
one
watch
way
a
I'd love
show
to
in
do it.
America. I would love to watch a show in America, right? That has like I can't think of names right now off the top of my head, but do you know American guys who are not quite like say at world's level yet
Hmm.
in the opens, um, who are like maybe making the finals of the Arnold or coming top 10 in
Sure.
nationals. I'd like to see just a big pro show with just like 20 of those.
I would love to
No
host something
no
like that.
pros allowed, so it wouldn't be any top guys. It would just be like that second tier sort of
Yeah.
guys. Put them all against each other and see what happened.
Yeah, just a big heavyweight showdown. I would love to host something like that would be my like what I would want to host for a heavyweight show.
Do it.
Couple $1,000 prize pot, 5 grand, whatever. Because it's like and that would be so easy to run too. You
Yeah,
think
man, that's the good thing about running one class shows as well. They're super easy.
don't have to
I
change the
mean,
weights, you know?
moving the sandbags was a pain in the ass. That's
Yeah.
right. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we got
Like,
dollies
oh
for that.
God, that's so heavy. I
Yeah.
think the sandbag to shoulder went up to like 700, no, 375 pounds,
Yeah.
and I
But
hated moving it.
no, no, that's cool stuff, man. Do you wanna before we get off, do you want to touch on what happened with Giants Live OSG?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is like real inside strongman drama, like, but
Okay, so the funny part is, right, there was no drama. Like,
yeah,
so
that's
for those who don't know, I have run Britain's Strongest Man under 80s for the last 4 years. I started it. Me and Josh Lancaster decided to run it 4 years ago because it hadn't existed basically in the UK for a couple of years. The 80s scene was dead. The only good 80 kilo guy at the time in the UK was Flash,
hmm,
and Flash and Dean, but they were like competing in like 90s nationally, obviously, and then go into OSG, like doing, say, Dean was doing Scotland's Strongest Man under 90, and then there was no Britons. So we decided to run Britons. Um, I've run that for the last 4 years. Then last year, Official Strongman approached me and asked me if I would basically put my comp under the Official Strongman banner because they own the naming rights to the title of Britain's Strongest Man. So they've got the IP and stuff
yeah,
to it because obviously they've ran the Opens for the last 15 years or whatever, haven't they? So they've copyrighted the title Britain's Strongest Man. And they were like, "Do you want to run in the official strongman banner?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." It would mean it would qualify for like OSG, qualify for Europes and all that stuff. And they were like, "Do you also want to add the 90s and the 105s to it? Because currently it's run by other promoters who they basically said they didn't want to work with. So they asked me if I put them all together. So I was like, yeah, cool. So we run them all this year. It was really successful. We had like record number of athletes. We gave out prize money in every class. Like nothing crazy, but for like a nationals, I was happy that we were be able to give out some prize money. It was live streamed, went really well. Had pretty much universal positive feedback. So yeah, I was planning on running again next year. I'd already started picking dates and everything, and then I saw a post on Instagram that a different promoter announced that they were running it. So essentially, official strongman um, decided to go with a different promoter, but didn't even tell me about it. So I
yeah,
found out on Instagram, and that's the part that's pissed me off. I'm not gonna speak for Ree, but pissed Ree off.
I
um,
imagine so. I mean,
Pissed off a
you
lot of
put so
people. It was
much
like the fact that they didn't have the courtesy to just even drop me a text.
right.
Or like if they said, "Okay, we're gonna go with this different promoter because X, Y, and Z," I would like, "Okay, I'm disappointed, but it's obviously it's your name, so you can do whatever the hell you want, really." And I
Yeah.
would have taken it on the chin and cracked on. But it was the fact that they were cowards. I'm just going to call them cowards because that's what they was. They were cowards. Couldn't be asked saying anything to me. Let me found out via Instagram, and even after all the drama and all the people, like official song from it was getting slated on Instagram. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, for sure.
I still haven't received a message, man.
That's crazy.
Like
And
three or 4 weeks later, still I haven't had an apology. I haven't had like anybody reach out and say like, "Oh, I'm sorry you went down that way."
no,
Blah blah blah.
it's crazy, man. And it's like, the outcry speaks to how well you guys were doing because how many athletes were vocal about it and spoke up and were
Yeah,
like, this sucks. But it's like you put in all that work and effort, and then to find out from an Instagram post is just so like disheartening and so, like you said, it's cowardly, it's
I'll be honest. I was very very close to just quitting the sport entirely.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you
Like
did.
I was like, Ree had to talk me down off a ledge. Basically, I was like, I can't be asked with this anymore. It's like it's not worth it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Obviously, she talked me around, and we decided we are just going to do our own thing. But that's why we're running the Chaos Championship because we want. I don't want it to be a monopoly, basically, in the UK
right.
because I feel like I'm just going to say how I feel like how I feel like it is. I don't think official strongman gave a shit about the athletes.
Yeah, I mean,
From like that's my opinion. Other people can disagree.
sure, yeah.
Uh, from what I've seen, the way they treated me personally, I'm never going to do anything with them again. Like I worked my ass off for the official online qualifier this year, and then as soon as that happened, I was like, that comp's ruined now.
Right. No,
Um,
dude, I don't blame you at all. It's like, how much work it seems like you guys put in. And as a promoter, I can only imagine how much work you guys put in, and then to find out that way, not to beat a dead horse, but I mean, that's as low as it gets.
yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, that's the full story. Basically, it's not much drama. Like as far as we were aware, nothing went wrong. We were like the comps ran well. We had good feedback. I don't know if they thought anything went wrong or whether they just decided to take it. Oh, we
Whoa.
good?
Yeah, that was weird. It just exited out and came back in.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know the reasoning. I probably won't ever find out.
Yeah, I would
Um,
be curious if they just would send you a message and be like,
did I don't know if people know who the owner of Official Strongman is, but it's the same as the owner of Giants Live. If you just want to freaking Google it, you'll know exactly who we're talking about. They have
yeah,
my they have my phone number. Like,
right. And even if they didn't, I promise you they could get your phone number.
yeah, of course they could.
I mean, come on. I mean, even a freaking Instagram DM. I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
I'm honestly I'm still a bit baffled by it all because even if they, like I said, had their issues with me or whatever, like it's been really bad press for them,
Yeah,
and
hell
they've kind
yeah.
of shot themselves a
It's
foot
like,
in the
man,
foot a
if,
lot. Like,
well, I mean, think of, let me just say, I have no affiliation with official strong. I've done official strongman games. Um, but if they're gonna do that to someone that you and Ree that are putting in all this work, all this time, all this effort, Ree's a multiple OSG champion. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
In a
I think is she the only three-time champion?
she's the greatest, she's the
64
greatest
ever.
lightweight of all time.
Yeah,
Um, and if they can do that to you, no offense, what are they gonna do to me? How are they
exactly,
gonna treat me, the Joe Schmo athlete coming?
exactly, man. If they're
That's what
gonna,
I hope people see that, man. I'm not wishing bad on
yeah,
it.
I'm not telling
I mean, I'm
everybody.
sure you are wishing bad. If you're like me, you are wishing bad. And
Secretly,
because
no.
if
But
someone
what I
does me
mean
wrong,
is,
I wish bad on them.
I'm
That's
not I'm not going to be telling any athletes to like boycott
no,
or anything like that. Do what you need to do. I think OSG is still going to be a great comp. I know Lim will run a great show. Um, because of people don't realize official strongman games with Lynn and official strongman, the organization, are two very different things.
yes, right,
So I know it's on the same platform wherever, so it is kind of hard to separate them sometimes, but they are two different things. So I hope OSG goes really well. Um,
yeah,
hope
but
everybody has a great time competing, etc., etc. But like you said, if official strongman can treat the greatest lightweight of all time like absolute shit and with disrespect,
yeah,
how are they going to treat everybody else? Like, and
yeah. I mean,
I
that's
think people
like,
are slowly starting to realize that you're just a cog in the machine.
yeah, I
And
mean, that's like the NBA, spitting in LeBron's face,
yeah, like
saying,
literally,
like literally being like, you can't play anymore, like for no
yeah.
reason. It's crazy. That
Well,
sounds insane.
Rihanna will never do another official strongman games.
Yeah. But
She told me she's fine with me saying that. She's like
yeah,
until they start to show us some respect. Like, yeah, it's not happening.
yeah. If you're not following Ree on Instagram, make sure you guys do. I mean, I don't know who would be listening right now that doesn't know who Ree is, but in the case that they don't, let me make sure I say her Instagram correctly. It's just Rhi dot Lovelace,
Yes. Yeah.
Lovelace.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
incredible. 600, what is it? 620,
pounds, yeah, at 140.
yeah, at 140 kilos. Like,
Um,
so
yeah.
623 pound deadlift at 62 kilos.
Yeah.
That's like, without a doubt, the pound for pound strongest woman to ever do it. Pound for pound best athlete to ever do it.
Yeah. I don't really
Uh,
think there's any debate.
no, 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 dude. It's so crazy. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this, but like, I think I've told this like probably 500 times since OSG last year in Charleston, but we were in the same hotel and I finally got to meet you guys. Like, you see people and you bullshit outside the hotel,
Yeah.
but like how unbelievably chill and just normal Ree is, and like she's like outside the hotel smoking a cigarette, okay? And then she goes and wins every event at OSG. And like literally she like after winning the deadlift ladder, you see her outside smoking. It's like the most incredible thing ever and like how nice and real she is. But like just how like normal, it's the funniest thing ever. Like to see how she was as an athlete and like how good she is. It's really
Yeah, she won't mind. Anybody who's ever been to OSC will have seen Reese smoking at some point, so I don't think she'll. I don't think she'll mind you saying
yeah,
that.
no, I just think it was so cool to see, and it's a funny story. So but no, man, it's a lot to unpack, and it's props to you for talking about it because I mean, what the hell do you have to lose? What are they gonna do? Take away your show, But it's like,
Exactly.
but man, it's like,
A lot of people have been calling us crazy, like, "Oh, you're taking on like official strongman and Giants Live and stuff." And I was like, they don't care.
no,
Like,
no, they clearly don't care. They still haven't even sent you a message.
yeah.
And what are they
So
gonna do? I mean, there's nothing they can do now. So it's
I think I think it probably did shock them the amount of support we got
yeah,
because it shocked me, to be honest, the amount of support we got of people like publicly and in like messages. My inbox was blown the fuck up for like for like
yeah,
two
yeah,
weeks straight. So yeah, maybe they didn't expect it to backfire as much as it did. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I thought I'd come on here and talk about it, and then I can just
yeah.
stop
But you know
talking
what,
about
man?
it.
I'm happy we didn't talk about it to the end because I didn't even think about it honestly until the end. But like we have so much other stuff to talk about that's positive stuff that you're
Yeah,
doing.
100%.
And it's so cool. It's like I hope, I'm glad you're not doing anything with the sport anymore, but it's like you're doing so much positive stuff with or without official strongman. So like highlight that. Yeah, that sucks, but you're gonna do so much stuff that's bigger and better anyway.
Yeah,
So,
100%. I'm going to be at PSL in like two weeks, so
yeah.
that's cool. I'm
Yeah,
going to be
man.
doing commentary for the under 90 kilo and the record breakers.
Yeah, you'll
So
be so that's I think Dante's live streaming it, our producer of this
yeah, I
podcast.
believe he is. Yeah,
He's
so I'll be
he's
working
live
with
streaming.
Dante. So that's cool.
Yeah, he's been doing awesome. So you'll get to meet him if you haven't already. I don't think you've ever met him, but
Was he
maybe
not? Was he not in Baltimore?
I think were you in the regional one?
Yeah,
Do you look was it a kid that looked like Shrek?
I
A
can't
big
remember. I'm sure was Dante there. I can't remember.
I can't remember if he streamed that one or not.
No,
He streamed I know he streamed the 105s this year. He streamed the 80s and 73s this year. I can't remember if he did that regional or not. I think he did.
I think he did. I'm sure he was there.
But no, he keeps getting better and better at live streaming. I'm really proud of him. Um, but yeah,
So
that's awesome, man. Um, but I really, really urge you guys to go and check out what Luke, Ree, and the Chaos team are doing. Um, because it's incredible. Like it seems like you are, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're really like starting to focus on building a brand with strongman, like now with like the deadlift suits,
yeah,
like little stuff like that. It's just cool to see the growth. So it's I can say it's people that genuinely care about the athletes, and that's it. And like,
yeah. Like everything we do with regards to like suits, equipment, blah blah blah, it all just gets funneled back in, man. Like
yeah, right,
Me and Reed do not spend a penny on ourselves.
you're right.
Like it all goes back into the
So
sport in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah,
no, I couldn't urge people enough because you guys are some of the greatest people in the sport. So make sure you guys are following them, supporting them. And I'm sure we'll have Luke on again in the future. So, man, thank you so much for the time.
no worries. Been a pleasure.
Thanks. See you guys.